Good morning, I'm Holly Morris. This was a special year at Fox 5. It was the year we made a real commitment to bring you some good news in a campaign we call Pay It Forward. The idea is to highlight people in our area who do good things, not just for the attention or recognition, but just because they want to. Our hope was that by showcasing them, others would be inspired to do great things too, so that in the end we would have this wheel of kindness that just keeps turning. Well, let's just say the campaign exceeded our expectations. From the people we showcased to our viewers' response to the stories, we have been overwhelmed, humbled, and touched. So for the next hour, we are going to relive some of our Pay It Forward moments. But more importantly, we're going to update you on what's happened since those stories aired. So let's get started the same way we did last January with our surprise campaign kickoff. Kelly Lavin started Our Neighbor's Child, a nonprofit that provides Christmas for needy kids in Fairfax County. Last year, 700 families got a visit from Santa thanks to Kelly. We featured her on our news and then in January asked her back for a follow-up on how others can go about starting charities. That wasn't the only reason we wanted her to come to our studios.
What is this?
What is this? Well, you know what? I'm going to take you over to someone who's going to tell us exactly what this is. Kelly, I'd like to introduce you to Robert Bassam of Eastern's Automotive.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure
We were
to meet
very
you.
moved by the report and wanted to get involved. I know it's a bit late, but it gets you a start on next year.
That is so sweet. Wow,
Okay.
great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving back the way you do.
Oh, it makes me happy. We have a lot of people who give back, and I wish they could all be right here. But this is terrific.
Robert Bassam from Eastern's Automotive was so moved by the original story showcasing Kelly's overwhelming generosity that he wanted to pay it forward by giving Kelly a truckload of toys that will in turn allow more kids the thrill of Christmas morning. And with that surprise, our Pay It Forward campaign was born. And since he helped get it all started, we asked Robert to be with us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. So we spoke with Kelly, Robert, and she told us that you have housed all the toys for her this year until time for delivery this December, which they're going to deliver this year to 800 families, 2,000 children.
She's fantastic.
Well, you're pretty fantastic yourself. So tell me, why was it so important for you to be a part of this?
It's part of our DNA. It really is. We are a company that's been around 27 years, and it lives and breathes in this community, and the needs are endless, and they're not just in giving away cars or even toys or dogs. Everything you guys get involved in, we can help. This community makes us who we are. It is not an obligation. It is just who we are. We have to do it.
Well, the world's a better place because of people like you. And Robert is going to join us again a little later because his giving didn't stop with Our Neighbor's Child. But right now, I want to talk about Resurrection in Devon, a couple we met and whose story is the epitome of paying it forward.
An overcrowded place of desperation. That's how most would describe a homeless shelter, a place most think they'll never need.
When I got out of the service, it was a rough time for me. So I ended up in a homeless shelter.
There were too many not so good months, and so, you know, I had to close my business. As a result, my home went into foreclosure, and myself and my child ended up homeless.
And while life circumstances landed Resurrection in Devon in a shelter, fate led them to each other.
For me, it was magical. You know what I mean? It was very, it was a spiritual moment for me, and yeah, I had to say hi.
He asked me if I knew how to do resumes. I told him yes, so I offered to do his resume, and that's how he got me to talk.
And that's how it all began, the start of their love and of their journey out. It took time, but they overcame their situation. And on August 28, 2013, 2 years to the date of when they started talking, Resurrection and Devon got married. And while they took their vows at the Jefferson Memorial, across the Tidal Basin, another significant event was taking place. The 50th anniversary of the March on Washington, the real reason they selected the date, and why the theme of their wedding was, I had a dream, and it came true.
As I'm walking down the aisle to go to where we're going to stand and take our vows, I start hearing total praise. Lord, peace to that echo just kind of rippled across the water over to us at the Jefferson. I just had to stop for a moment and just like take that in.
After saying their I do's, the couple then went and did something pretty remarkable.
Our guests brought sandwiches and brought water and made their own little baggies.
And in lieu of a wedding reception, they all went to 2 DC parks and fed the homeless.
It was really awesome. They had me twirling around, and you know, the homeless guys, they were really excited. And, you know, they sort of blessed us.
But Devon and Resurrection's generosity and compassion doesn't end there. This couple pays it forward daily.
Homelessness is a full-time job, okay? Has anybody ever said that to you before?
Resurrection speaks for the National Coalition of the Homeless, helping to dispel the myths of homelessness.
97% of homeless mothers have experienced child sexual abuse and or rape.
She also trains volunteers on how to do outreach for the homeless.
Hi, how are you? Would you like a water?
And then there's Glory Soldiers Global, an organization she and Devon started to help people overcome homelessness.
There are pillows and there are, you know, blankets. There's actually some Converse in here.
Donations filling their home for those who don't have one. Glory Soldiers Global also has actual programs and classes all geared toward being healed, being housed, and being whole.
It's an undescribable, unexplainable feeling that I get from, you know, from helping people.
We are the light of the world, literally. I think it's inspiring for us to be able to share that with some of our clients too, to say, hey, you know what? You might be going through something now, but you have the light of the world on the inside of you.
Well, I'm here to tell you this world is a better place because of you two. And I'm so glad that you found each other.
Yeah, me too.
Opportunities opened up for this incredible couple after our story aired. Most importantly, they received donations to help fund their work and volunteers wanting to actually help them do their work. They were also featured on a national news program and just recently contacted by another network for a possible show. Ahead on our Pay It Forward holiday special, an award-winning author shares how he was inspired to start his book series and who he hopes is reading them. How much of a difference can a teacher have on a child's life? Well, as we found out, enough to inspire one man to pay it forward. Gary Carton is most certainly a kid in a 44-year-old man's body, but that's why he is the go-to guy for fun in his Arlington neighborhood, and why it comes as no surprise that he's the author behind an award-winning pre-T fiction fantasy called The Last Act Away. What is surprising, though, is that he's an author at all.
And when I was in 3rd grade, I got pulled out of a reading class, which of course was embarrassing, and the teacher pulled me aside and she said, do you know what a learning disability is? And I said, no. And she said, it's a gift. And she said, you learn things differently and you see things differently than most people, but different is good.
That one conversation changed Gary's life. He went on to do many things, including writing books, but it also inspired him to go and talk to kids that were just like him. And he always tells them these 3 things. Being different is good, every kid has special powers, and you can do anything you imagine. Well, Gary's story hit home with quite a few folks. 3 different companies purchased a total of 600 books with the sole purpose of donating them to kids in need. And Gary was asked to speak at several schools, not only in our area, but in Chicago and Florida as well. And speaking of kids, Sherry Robinson was a woman who we profiled who wanted to teach her own son, Jesse, the importance of paying it forward by filling and donating backpacks for kids in need. She calls it Jesse's Bags, and when we did the story on Sherry, she had already donated 45 book bags. People were so inspired by this mother-son donating duo that more donations enabled them to more than double that original number. And now from filling backpacks to filling food bags for hungry children, we were at Green Spring Retirement when they officially packed their 10,000th Power Pack. Power Packs are for kids in Fairfax County who otherwise would have nothing to eat between their school lunch on Friday and school breakfast served on Monday. The program is run through a food bank called Food for Others, but only made possible because of volunteers like these sweet little seniors at Green Spring who have been filling bags for kids in need at Springfield Estates Elementary once a week for the past 3 years. Well, residents at Goodwin House West, another retirement facility in Northern Virginia, saw our story and were so inspired by the selfless seniors at Green Spring that they contacted Green Spring. They wanted to get more information on how they can set up their own program just like it. She stole our hearts, sweet little Abby. She is battling cancer. We have an update on her condition and how her family is still fighting ahead on our Pay It Forward holiday special. One of the biggest responses we got this past year was to a story of a 4-year-old girl fighting for her life and her mom's commitment to thank those who saved it.
This right here is gymnastics. This is me dancing at dance as my recital.
At first glance, Abby Furco's childhood memories are like most, until you really listen.
There's me and Maggie. That's chemo.
This is chemo?
I think it's platelets or chemo. I think it's chemo.
I have flashbacks, and even when of him sitting down and introducing himself as a pediatric oncologist. Your daughter Abigail has leukemia. He talked for another 45 minutes. I do not remember one other thing that he said.
Abby was just 4, and not only was she diagnosed with leukemia, genetic testing resulted in more grave news.
She has the Philadelphia chromosome, which is an inversion of DNA. No one knows quite why, how, where, but it is. And it is resistant to chemotherapy.
There's my doctor, Dr. Wessler. There are 2 of my nurses.
Given a 20% chance of survival, Abby faced a bone marrow transplant until a doctor in Chicago had an idea.
She suggested Abby starting this new drug that there was a trial going on. It was no longer open, but that she could get permission for Abby to try it.
Permission granted, Abby's treatment began. Heavy doses of chemo, along with the drug dasatinib, taken daily for 132 weeks.
And that's Halloween. We dressed up as Super Mario people. This is Valentine's Day. Maggie's being silly. I got a little bear and a balloon. There is me and Allison. That's my birthday.
A lot of times my husband and I would just look at each other and look at her, and it was totally unspoken. And there were many weekends that we were so scared that we were going to be saying goodbye.
But thankfully, that moment never came.
So this yellow one is a night you spent in the hospital, right? This one is a bone marrow biopsy?
Yes.
Instead, Abby has some 900+ courage beads to show for her difficult road to recovery. One made possible in large part to a volunteer-driven charity called the St. Baldrick's Foundation.
They funded the research that allowed Abby to take dasatinib, the pill that truly, I feel, saved her life.
Founded in 2005, St. Baldrick's Foundation is committed to funding research to find cures specifically for childhood cancer. To date, its grants total more than $101 million. And while Patty knows she can never pay them back, she can indeed pay it forward.
Someone was fighting outside of the hospital for Abby and I. Before she was diagnosed, when we were in the hospital getting this funding. It's my turn. I'm ready.
Which is why, for the second year, Patty is organizing one of St. Baldrick's signature hair shaving events.
Part of the head shaving event is to raise money, but it's also to allow people to stand side by side with kids that are bald from chemotherapy, or even like Abby, who has her hair, but she remembers being bald.
A show of solidarity, empowering sick kids to keep up the fight.
If there was another kid that got cancer,
and had to go through what you did, what would you tell them?
Just deal with it and try to be brave.
And when needed, Abby also suggests listening to her favorite song.
There's always the threat of the dreaded R word of relapse, and but I see Abby's drive just, you know, is to take her far. I really do. And I just want her to be happy.
You know what I do to people that give them bunny ears? Yeah, I think you're cured.
And 2 weeks after our story, Patty held her St. Baldrick's Foundation head shaving event at a bar in Bethesda. Their original goal was $20,000. Well, they raised more than $40,000 with 50 people volunteering to shave their heads as a show of solidarity for children with cancer. However, with a heavy heart, I also have to tell you that Abby relapsed. But the promising news is that she has received an official donor for a bone marrow transplant. Also of note, Katy Perry, Abby's favorite, sent Abby a birthday package with Katy Perry jewelry marked Champion, Fighter, and Roar. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Furco family, and we have no doubt that Abby will indeed continue to dance through the fire. As I regain my composure, I'll tell you that another Pay It Forward story we did also dealt with a young girl and cancer, only this one focused on her resourcefulness. 14-year-old Ellen Rabine shops garage sales with her mom so that she can then sell the items on eBay. Well, this past year, she took her profit and single-handedly started a palliative care library at the Aquilino Cancer Center at Shady Grove Adventist Hospital. The books she bought and donated help families and people that are coping with cancer deal with all aspects of the disease. The center officially dedicated the library to Ellen. A plaque, you see it there with her name, sits on one shelf of the bookcase. I'm happy to report, though, that since we did the story on Ellen, that one bookcase of materials has now grown to 3 bookcases. A wounded warrior turned photographer discovered a secret to making him feel better. Ahead in our Pay It Forward special, a look at how he's now helping other troops in our area. Every Pay It Forward story we did got a response, but one of the ones that resonated the most with people was the story of John Mullen. John is a double amputee wounded warrior who, in recreating himself as a professional photographer, got connected with Sarah D'Amelio, the founder of Skin Can Do. She suggested he try Combat Ready Balm, a product he was actually photographing for her. It made such a difference for him that he vowed to get it in the hands of as many amputees at Walter Reed as possible. Well, thanks to many that saw the story, his promise to pay it forward came true.
So tell me what happened after the Pay It Forward story aired.
Oh my gosh, Holly, it was incredible. The response from everybody, we received thousands and thousands of dollars in donation. We were able to donate 450 8-ounce jars to the servicemen at Walter Reed. The outpouring of love was beautiful.
The only thing better? Getting to actually deliver the goods, which is what this day was all about. So many boxes of Combat Ready Balm that it took more than just John and Sarah to load up. Donating to Walter Reed is easier said than done, but John and Sarah finally found a way. The donated jars going to the Red Cross at the hospital for them to dispense. But that doesn't mean the hospital itself didn't act on the story.
So Walter Reed contacted us, and they've been using the same cream since about 1948. And they saw Jonathan on the show, and they said, this is anecdotal evidence, we need to offer this to the wounded warriors as well.
So the Department of Rehabilitation purchased its own stash, and it's already in use. The power of paying it forward, surprising even to those who are the ones doing it.
I guess I kind of didn't even realize like the kind of impact it was going to have until like today. Actually, I was at Walter Reed doing physical therapy, and I saw one of the physical therapists actually pull out the jar of combat balm and use it like on one of the warriors, because I guess he had a spot or something, but she was like explaining to him what to do with it and everything, and I was just like, whoa, like that's crazy.
Crazy good. Like the Red Cross having to find space in an upstairs storage closet because the donation was so large. Crazy good. My thought about a story and a moment I won't soon forget.
We had another Pay It Forward story with a military connection. Kit Jenkins started the Carrying On Project. Her charity provides baby carriers for military moms that might not be able to afford them. When we met her, the Carrying On Project had given out just over 1,000 carriers at absolutely no cost to the recipients. Well, as of now, the Carrying On Project is on target to give another 1,100 carriers to military families. 2 larger carrier companies saw the story and made very large donations. One person saw the story and donated 60 carriers themselves. The Carrying On Project has sent carriers now to every state in the U.S. and almost every country hosting a U.S. military installation. You know, Kit also said something that I'll never forget. If you know better, you can do better, which brings me to 2 sisters living in Bethesda. Rachel and Bryn Blizzard know what it's like to dress up and feel pretty, which is why they felt like they could do something for other girls that wouldn't necessarily get that experience. So they started their own chapter of Becca's Closet, a national charity that provides prom dresses for girls who can't afford them. When we did the story, they had gotten 749 dresses donated and were on tap to deliver to 9 schools in Montgomery County. Well, since the story aired, they have collected 1,300 dresses and have just started their next dress drive. Straight ahead, it was one of ours and your favorite stories. It's a look at how one woman in our area is single-handedly putting together birthday parties for children who don't have a place to call home. Up next, we'll give you an update on how this wonderful organization is doing since we shared their story on Fox 5. Nothing beats a birthday. It's fun, heartwarming, a moment that no doubt is memorable. Well, we could say the same thing about spending time with Chanel Leak, whose specialty is, in fact, throwing birthday parties that are anything but ordinary.
Balloons, chairs, tablecloths, decorations,
some frisbees, Spider-Man mask,
cupcakes. Somebody must be celebrating a birthday.
I think that a birthday is a wonderful day. It's another year that you have. It's a blessing, and so it shouldn't be an ordinary day.
And with these party preps underway, you can bet for 2 special kids, their special day will indeed be anything but ordinary.
Extraordinary Birthdays is a nonprofit that I started back in 2010. Our mission is simple. We create and provide birthday parties for homeless children. Chocolate, chocolate.
Chanel Leak always knew how to throw a good party. She even had a party planning business at one point. But one day it occurred to her that her talents could perhaps be used to pay it forward.
I've always been involved with the community, and so I took my love of event planning, which I always was doing, and tried to combine those 2.
Last year alone, her team threw 127 birthday parties for children in shelters. On this day, they're gearing up for several more at Shepherd's Cove in Capitol Heights. But before they get here, the process starts here.
All right, this is where the magic happens.
A small room in Chanel's basement that is not only her creative workspace, but also storage for everything needed to throw whatever kind of party a kid could want.
We don't do generic birthday parties. We don't come in with just balloons and a cake that says happy birthday. We do specialized parties.
Which is why each parent is given a questionnaire.
What's the theme? What's your child's name? What's their age? What kind of cake do they like? We get that questionnaire, and that's what drives us with the planning.
planning that when all's said and done, turns into something like this.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider.
Is that Joshua? Welcome. Welcome, Mr. Spider-Man.
Welcome to Joshua's extraordinary birthday party.
Should we gear you guys up with some capes?
He's turning 8, and though he's doing so in a shelter, he's getting to do so in superhero style.
Turn this way, superheroes.
Like all EOB parties, as the birthday child, Joshua gets to dress up in character, take part in a themed physical activity.
Yeah, I didn't expect to get TV.
And
it's fun.
Fun that is sometimes all summed up in the singing of the song.
Being a newly single parent and the job I was working at wasn't paying more than not even minimum wage, he hasn't had a birthday party in 3 years. This means so much because he actually got a party today.
Oh, hold up.
Oh, yeah.
But this is only on one side of the room at Shepherd's Cove. Welcome to Dante's extraordinary birthday party. He's also turning 8. His love? Basketball.
Yay, #1!
If you're wondering about birthday gifts,
whoa.
That's all part of the EOB package too. And while every wish can't be granted,
I want my daddy to be here.
Every child can be made to feel like the star of the show. But for it truly to be an extraordinary birthday, the parent there has to shine too.
Thank you, Mommy!
Yay! We don't come in as this organization that says, oh, it's just too bad that you're not able to give your child a party. Our whole philosophy is, this is what your mom ordered up for you.
Mommy did a great job.
Parties only last an hour, but are relived thanks to photo books, which are also included in the EOB experience.
We're not giving them a home. We're certainly not feeding them every day. We're giving them a moment.
Happy birthday to you.
A moment that, despite their circumstances, showed their growth mattered, that they were celebrated.
Happy birthday to you.
A moment they will always have, no matter where they call home.
Happy birthday.
Well, not surprisingly, the response to this story was amazing. In fact, Chanel said it was so great that it provided her with her words, happy challenge. They received a literal outpouring of monetary donations, party supply donations, volunteers, partnership opportunities, and even more media exposure. Well, if you want to continue to talk extraordinary, then look no further than Marcello Bradley. He works second shift as a Metro Transit police officer, and while he walks his beat in the afternoon, in the morning, you could say he feels it.
The clock tick-tocks, but it really doesn't. It wasn't, it never happened. It was simply your spirit gliding through the different universes.
Cello's been rapping for 10 years, but just dropped his first CD this year, and without missing a beat, decided to dedicate all of his proceeds to a scholarship competition. People were so inspired by Cello's attitude of gratitude, he gained more than $1,000 in donations and album sales. It is the season of giving, but there's one thing that people often avoid donating, and that's blood. Only 5% of Americans donate. Well, ahead, you're going to meet one special lady who's making an effort to not only donate, but educate others, including myself, as you can see there, along the way. Hear how you can help and save a life after the break. Some of our stories this year gave us great examples of how we can all pay it forward, like this next one. The two most common reasons why people say they don't give blood are never thought about it and I don't like needles.
which I can totally relate to because I've said both.
I want to donate blood today.
Okay, so first, let me get you some paperwork.
But on this day, I'm facing my fear and the facts.
I'll be right with you, okay? Thank you.
Someone needs blood every 2 seconds.
You can follow me right this way. We're going to take you to the screening booth.
38% of the population is eligible to donate. Only 5% actually do.
All right, here we go.
And then there's a percentage we'll simply call Lou.
I'm Holly.
Hi, Holly.
And you know, you're going to be my blood donor buddy today.
I am going to hold your hand.
Good, because that's what I need.
I'm a little nervous about this. But if ever there was someone to ease my anxiety and lead me through the process, 80-year-old Sarah Lou Colabucci was it.
She's got tender fingers, and she's tender all over. She'll take good care of you.
You see, Lou drives to NIH to not only give blood, but to specifically donate platelets, the type of blood cells that help your blood clot and are always in particular need, which she found out about via a bumper sticker, much like the one she has on her own car today. But Lou made her first platelet donation in 1974 and has been doing so every month since.
I don't understand why everybody thinks so much of it. I more or less think it's our duty to look after one another.
Which is why in 1998, even though she moved from Rockville to Ocean City, Lou continued to come.
You drive from Ocean City to NIH every month to give blood.
Yes, but you forget, this is my family.
And while 150 miles one way every month for 16 years, which is the same as driving from DC to LA 11 times, is impressive, the life-saving numbers from her 40 years of giving is even more so.
You can split her donation into 2 and sometimes even 3, so anywhere from 2 to 3 patients could be helped by her one donation.
To date, Lou has donated 310 units of platelets, helping sustain the life of some 600 patients.
I had one lady come up, I think I had this shirt on, and she says, "Do you donate blood?" She says, "Thank you, because you kept my husband alive a lot longer." You know how that makes a person feel? It's, oh, you could just walk on air.
As for me, I felt as if the air was getting a little thin, as it was time for the stick.
I wish I could tell you a joke.
You know what, just looking at you is enough. And you are inspiration.
Oh, really?
Enough.
Good. Oh, that's good.
And you know what? It was good. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel it. But 41,000 blood donations are needed every day. And on this day, knowing literally in a matter of 10 minutes I helped save a life, there was no pain. Just the satisfaction of paying it forward, like the angel sitting next to me does so frequently.
It makes me feel good to help other people. In fact, there's times I often think that God put me on this earth to help other people.
A sentiment with which I wholeheartedly agree.
Okay, if I did it, you can too. And I'm happy to say NIH did see an increase in blood donors after our story. And we weren't the only ones to fall in love with Lou. Our story was picked up by Yahoo Shine's Ellen DeGeneres' Good News blog. And speaking of something we can all do to pay it forward, did you happen to catch a ride on the tidal wave of kindness? It's a Facebook page started by 5 families who every other week come up with ideas for random acts of kindness. They're simple. Like when we profiled them, it was all about leaving coins at a candy machine so that a child could discover it and get a free piece of candy. To get the ideas, all you have to do is like the Facebook page and then ask to be a member. Then it's up to you to start following the ideas and spreading those smiles. Well, when we did the story, they had 200 members. After our story, 1,300 members. And as of now, they stand at 1,552 people riding that tidal wave of kindness. Remember Billy's story? Well, it's quite a tale to tell, which is exactly why we did. Coming up, a look at a family remembering and honoring their matriarch just the way she would have wanted. Many of our stories this year really gave us all something to think about. Never was that more true than when we learned about Billy's story. Julia Bell Bailey was a force, a giving force, so powerful that upon her passing, her 8 children, 23 grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grandchildren felt the need to tell her story, a lifetime of giving back. So they started a nonprofit called Billy's Story. Totally funded out of their own pockets, they do things like cook for and feed 150 homeless people, or like on the day we were with them, assemble gift bags for families dealing with sick children at the Ronald McDonald House in Northeast D.C., which they delivered and then spent the day there cleaning and landscaping. More than one person saw the story and decided that they too want to be a part of Billy's story. The family was contacted via Facebook and email from various local businesses, vendors, and other nonprofits who want to sponsor and assist with their planned events for 2015. Well, when it comes to a newborn, their story is just beginning, of course. And we met one lady this year who believes every baby deserves a good start, no matter their circumstances. That's why Jesse Roman started Baby's Bounty of Montgomery County. They help provide at no cost all the basic necessities for babies born into disadvantaged situations. Car seats, pack and plays, diaper bags completely filled with onesies, diapers, pacifiers, bottles, you name it. They work with 30 different social service agencies and in the first year helped 100 babies. In the first quarter of the second year, another 100 babies. Well, they currently have a wait list because demand is so high. But since seeing the story, several people have reached out to donate items and several more have asked if they could hold a baby items drive at their church or place of work. And while every baby deserves a good start, every person in an abusive situation deserves a way out. Unfortunately, many don't know the way. And that's why one of our Pay It Forward stories this year had to do with domestic violence. Steve Murray works for RE/MAX, but on Saturdays pays it forward by using his company's truck to collect items for Shelter House and Artemis House. Artemis House is the only domestic violence shelter in Fairfax County.
A lot of people get a little gun shy and they go, well, the problem is so massive that there's nothing as an individual I can do to really make a difference. And I just want them to know nothing could be further from the truth.
We met 2 of the women who have benefited from Artemis House. They courageously told their stories in hopes of letting other women know there is help out there. Education is a big part of this battle, and I'm happy to report that after our story aired, not only did Artemis House receive a $1,000 donation, but a company contacted them about partnering with them to help fund an awareness campaign. This holiday season, you'll hear them out in full force. It's the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign. But before you walk by them, hopefully, of course, you'll donate. And perhaps think about our story on one ringer who is really making a difference.
God bless you. Would you like to give a donation today?
It is a sure sound of the season. Salvation Army bell ringers out for the Red Kettle campaign. Well, we profiled Dave Andresco, who has been voluntarily ringing the bell for 17 years, but for the last 10 has organized his own army of 50 ringers from his church in Woodbridge. Now, I don't know if our story had anything to do with it, but Dave did tell me he took the first ringer shift for his church, there he is this year, and that he strongly believes the amount of people that donated that first day was the most he's ever seen. And Robert from Eastern's Automotive is back with me now. He also donated that first day of the Red Kettle campaign, $3,000 to help kick it off. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
But let me tell you this, Eastern's also donated to every single Pay It Forward story we did. So on behalf of every person that I profiled and myself, I thank you for your overwhelming generosity. You're an amazing person. Did you think it was going to be this kind of year when you first got involved?
It's phenomenal. I'm just trying to keep it together over here watching these great stories. And tell you what, life is precious and people are wonderful. Thank you, Fox, for doing these stories and giving the time. Thank you for having us involved.
Enough with the handshake. I'm giving you a hug. It's okay. Those are good tears on this holiday. Thank you. So another year?
Absolutely.
All right. right. See how I get that commitment when we're on TV? I'm telling you, it was pretty amazing. I feel like I, too, am a better person because of every person that I did a story on. From the bottom of my heart, I say thank you for letting me share your story. And to you, the viewer, thank you for listening to them. Here at Fox 5, our commitment to pay it forward will continue. And I hope yours does, too.